Okay, this video is intended to help you think about thesis statements. A thesis statement is an assertion. So what I mean by that is it is a expression of a writer's opinion about their topic. So you all have opinions about your topics. You're sharing those opinions in terms of the insights you've developed that answer your expository question. You know, if I wrote a paper about why we love hockey, that's really an assertion of my belief, my um, my recognition of some truth or reality about the world that I'm trying to get you to accept. So in that way, a thesis statement is an assertion of that belief or opinion. It captures the point you want to make about the topic, giving your work purpose and focus. It's appropriate to talk about thesis statement after you've been drafting for some time because thesis statements evolve and what you intended to do with your work may have changed through the process of working, and you want to capture that really clearly with the thesis statement. And returning to your thesis statement and revising it is a really important part and really valuable part of that writing process. You want to make sure to avoid common high school mistakes with thesis statements. Okay, there's some things that high schools have encouraged with formulaic writing that makes sense at a lower level, but do not make sense in the college world. And if you have a high school-like thesis statement, you quickly mark yourself out as a inexperienced or lower level writer. So let's talk about the difference between high school thesis statements and college thesis statements and try to give you some tricks or different formulas to use to achieve this. Imagine if this was your expository question. What are the effects of moving a lot when you're a kid? That's a decent question. Obviously, it's something that adults have public conversations about. If you did move a lot when you were a kid, you could have or you did a bunch of research about this, you'd have a sense of how this affected you. If this was your ideas, one effect is you struggle to have friends or you have no friends. Another effect is that you're scared. And another effect is you're far from family. Those are really bad ideas. What makes them bad? They're obvious. They're things we already know. If you've never moved a lot, you could already guess those things. So what I'm trying to do is capture a stereotypically bad high school paper. So if that was what somebody was writing in high school, this is what their thesis would look like. There are many effects of moving when you are a child. You have no friends, are scared of everything, and are far from family without any support. This is called a mapped thesis statement. We can guess that this paragraph will be body one, and then this paragraph will be body two, and that this paragraph will be body three. It's a map of what you're going to write in your essay. It's overly simplistic. It's insulting to an advanced reader. You do not see professionals doing this in their writing. It's a little bit of that middle school mantra of an introduction tells us what you're going to say, the body says it, and the conclusion tells us what you just said, right? We want to avoid that for sure. And instead, we want to focus on a more nuanced, creative, complex way to express what you are tackling in this essay. So how do you do that? So if we keep that basic model, remember this is what not to do, and instead I want you to think about this formula. The mode of topic, creative verb. I'm going to focus so much on the rest of this class on creative verbs. So if we think about that, the mode of the essay above is effects. The topic is moving. So if we use the formula, the effect of moving when you were a child, then you need a verb, a creative verb. fractures. This act of coming up with more interesting verbs actually helps in your generative invention aspect of the writing process. If you're in the middle of your project, it helps you really focus and really sharpen, really clarify what it is you're trying to say and do. Using verbs effectively and concisely is a part of college level style. So your thesis statement is stylistically improving when you think about it like this. So style and ideas get better when you think about the verbs in your thesis statement. The effect of moving, and there's two verbs, both shakes the foundations of life and provides a basis for strength in the future. Maybe other verbs that would be stronger, like instead of shakes, you could have builds to play off shakes. What's another thing for build? Constructs, something like that. Other options for those verbs. So this act of using this formula is a place to start thinking about your thesis statement. And thesis statements usually appear at the end of the first paragraph. If you go through this document, which is in either Desire to Learn or Google Classroom, depending on which college or class or college you're in as you're watching this video, there are tons of examples. So, I've put in here tons of examples from previous students and how they did this in a face-to-face class. We would do these things live, but you can see the original thesis and then the thesis using the formula. What makes fair trade business an effective form of community development? This was written by somebody who worked around the world supporting fair trade business. So the mode, the qualities, the topic of fair trade business transforms. There's our verb, transforms communities around the world with economic vitality and social justice. What are the effects of being in the color guard? The challenges of spinning as a color guard. Reward. There's our verb. The effects of losing a friend in an accident. So there's the mode. Losing a friend. Losing a soulmate. So there's the mode. Or actually, that's just the topic. Sometimes you don't have to have the mode expressed because it's clear. Reorients our sense of self and our place in the world. That's the verb. What are the ways to get big tips? Getting big tips requires patience, wit, and personality. So that's what she would write about in her essay. That's the map. Instead, the techniques for getting big tips. So there's mode and topic. Reveal basic human psychology. So we know that the essay is going to tap into the ways a waitress or waiter uses psychology to get tips. There are many effects of learning how to play music, how to play and make music. You become a critical listener. You don't hesitate to make your own music, and you appreciate a wider genre of listening. Okay, that's the MAP thesis. Learning music stimulates. Boom. 4 words captures that thesis statement because of a powerful verb. What are the characteristics of a good bar? I loved this paper. This guy was the manager of Moriarty's Bar downtown. What are the characteristics of a good bar? So there are many characteristics of a good bar, right? So the characteristics of a bar, there's mode and topic. Capture. What a good verb, right? So this act of moving through this formula, and sometimes you can switch the formula a little bit. You can just have topic instead of mode. What are the artistic characteristics of pole dancing? This was written by somebody who did it. The art of pole dancing surprises, inspires creativity. The signs of a toxic partner elude. There's that verb. So this is just a thesis statement that a student wrote using the formula. What are the signs of a sneakerhead? So sneakerheads are people who collect sneakers. The signs of a true sneakerhead: reveal or expose or demonstrate or capture. How does dance change us? Dance transforms, it inspires, it creates, it stamps its siren song on our souls. It teaches, it rewards, it exposes. This is writers playing with this language And you can look through this whole document for examples of how writers are doing this. So you want to make sure that you don't have a map thesis in your final draft and that you play with this formula. And usually this thesis statement appears at the end of the first paragraph, but it can appear in other places. Selling manure, the thesis was really at the end. She led up to her point that she wanted to make. That's a rhetorical choice you make as a writer when you are thinking about how your audience moves through your ideas. So play with it, put it at the beginning, put it at the end, see what works best for you. The right place to put it is the place that it works. I'm sorry for the complicated answer, but writing is a complicated thing. Good luck with your writing.